Hello students and colleagues, this is Dr. Satish Singha from Rose State College, Misdewett City, Oklahoma. And in this part 3 of steps in software development, remember part 1 and 2 we had already done up to developing the pseudocode. In order to convert pseudocode to a source code, software developer, software engineer, or programmer need to select a programming language. So that's why at this part there is a bifurcation depending on the programming language. They're going to use JavaScript. So part 3, 4, 5 and onwards, each video will be different for each language. In this one I'm going to show with JavaScript, the other Java and possibly others. So those of you who are interested in JavaScript should watch this video. Okay. So programming language choice. In this case, we choose JavaScript to convert our pseudocode that you saw in video number 2 to source code. And one has to learn language rules before such translation can be performed. We'll discuss some JavaScript rules. We are not going to discuss all of them. I'll have future videos which will discuss JavaScript details, but right now we'll just learn enough number of rules to convert the pseudocode we had into source code. And we will also go to either an HTML editor as needed, or I might use one JavaScript runner on the web, which will, at least in this video, we will not need to use HTML editor, but I will show that to you in the future. And we're going to show essential features of the JavaScript language that we need in order to convert pseudocode to the source code. And we'll show some of them and we'll return in future to discuss others. Okay. So question is, why use JavaScript? Well, JavaScript is a widely used language in building web pages. There are a couple of billion web pages in the world now, and I think most of them use JavaScript. So it's a very heavily used language. The other advantage, at least I'm teaching one class right now for JavaScript that uses JavaScript. I'm teaching all of 4 or 5 other languages. It's an interpreted language, therefore a compiler software is not needed, and it would be enough to use a web browser to run JavaScript programs. And above feature allows anyone with a computer to learn JavaScript. So that's really, you don't have to install a compiler, you don't have to acquire a compiler, just your web browser will be good enough. And why we use JavaScript? Because JavaScript is part of new HTML5 standard, which is the web standard for the future. And that means that no real website can be built in future by someone who does not know JavaScript programming. So this has become very essential. Okay, so in JavaScript, first we want to talk to you about these things: how the output is done in JavaScript, how the variable declaration is done, and how data input is taken from the user. Okay. So to build programs, we need to learn how to do output in the computer program, how to declare and initialize variables, and how to get input from the user. Not necessarily in that order, but we can do that in order. And we're going to show these 3 to you in the JavaScript. Okay, and actually when I was doing this video I thought I'll use Eclipse, but then I changed my mind. We have something very simple called a JavaScript runner on the web, where we don't really have to, it's actually very simple. I'm going to show that, so I'm not going to use Eclipse. Use something called a JavaScript runner on the web, and you will see where that is. Later on, once you finish these steps and we have done the one single program through all the steps, then we'll show you how to develop JavaScript program using any Notepad software. It could be Notepad, Notepad++, Text Wrangler, TextPad, or anything. Okay. First, we want to talk about how output and line breaks are done in JavaScript. First, I'll give you the details, then we'll actually go into the JavaScript runner on the web and type the code and show it to you. Understand that JavaScript is a language used to add capability of running computer programs inside the web pages. So output is done by using a JavaScript object written for us to use called document, and it has a method called writeLn. So document is actually the object, writeLn is the method inside it. And if you don't know what objects are, you will actually understand them once you have done an object-oriented program. Basically, these are pieces of software written for us to use so that we don't have to write code to interact with the hardware like web page, which is on the computer screen, or the keyboard, which will be the input. So this is done to make our life easier, but we do have to learn how to use these. Okay. Part of the learning programming is two parts, that you learn how to do things that you can do on your own, but also learn how to use software that has already been written for us. So both parts are necessary when you write computer programs or when you develop software. And document actually, as I said, is an object. writeLn is a method in that object. If you don't know what methods are, you will learn them very soon. And think of document as a virtual cousin of your web page on which you will be writing, or you will be doing the output. Okay, imagine that we wanted to print on web page the following two lines. Hello world, and then goodbye world. We want web page to have these two lines. Then JavaScript code needed for them would be these two lines, this one and that one. So we have object document dot writeLn method. What we want to print hello world, we put that inside the quotes. And we have this line break. This is used to give a line break in HTML page, and JavaScript is printed on the HTML page, so we use it as is. And the second line will be similar, except text here is different. Okay, so this is the code to do output in JavaScript. We are outputting something very simple. As I said, BR is the HTML code for giving the line break in web pages. And we are going to demo this by doing it on the computer, but we are going to use, as we said, that JavaScript runner. Okay. So let me copy and paste these two lines. I'm going to have to modify these quotes, of course, because they won't work. Any quotes in PowerPoint is not going to work in the web page. Actually in the JavaScript code. So let's see, I escape that, and I think I have to kind of go down, and just copy these two lines. That'll be faster than anything else. And then I go to my JavaScript runner here. So this is JavaScript runner. The web address is here, and I can provide the web address to you later on. So I type the code, but of course, as I said earlier, these quotes may have to be replaced. At least that's how it was when I did them earlier. Yeah, actually they do need to be replaced. Okay. Don't worry about the red line, that's from the browser. It thinks that you made a spelling error, but actually didn't. and we run it, and notice the 2 lines show up in your web page. Okay, and we can go back. Actually, that didn't happen. That's okay, we'll figure it out how to go there again. Reload. Actually, you just reload and you'll get the runner back. There you go. Okay, so basically that means that this code works. This gives the line break because notice hello world was on the first line and the goodbye world was on the second line. So this BR does give us a line break. Okay, so we finished demoing how output is done in JavaScript. If you had more than one output, you'll just use this plus sign and add them to the line there. Okay. Next we discuss variable declaration in JavaScript. And remember, we needed 3 variables in the number multiplying program. In order to work with variables in JavaScript, the variable need declaration and the following syntax is required for the variable declaration. You use the JavaScript keyword var, which is all lower cases, and then the variable name, and then a semicolon. Each JavaScript program statements ends with a semicolon. So to declare num1, the JavaScript code is this, var num1. There are some variations in technique of variable declaration. We show them in the next slide. And there are additional syntax, of course. There's a single line method where we do var num1 equal to 0.0. So here the declaration and initial value, this need not be final value, are done in the same line. But you can have 2 line method. In this line we are declaring num1. No value provided in this line, and then here I'm providing value. Okay. I will always use 1 line method, although sometime I may type it into 2 lines, but it will be a 1 line method. Okay, so this video is hitting the end. So in the next video, part 4, I'm going to show you what happens in the RAM when you do this kind of declaration or this kind of declaration. We have some pictures of RAM, schematic pictures, of course. We didn't take a camera and photograph RAM. So I'll show you the variable declaration in JavaScript and output in input of the data in JavaScript. And then finally we'll be pretty close to translating our pseudocode into the source code. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Steps in Software Development, part 4 for JavaScript. Thank you.